yourself and maybe say one thing about why you're here and what you're interested in learning about today. I have to say I'm thrilled to do this call with all of you today because this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I'll tell you more about my story in a little bit, but I know that part of why you're here is you want to cleanse your colon. It's full of toxic bacteria, and you want to get those bacteria that are just creating all these endotoxins out of your body. But you're confused and overwhelmed with all the conflicting information, and most of you are a little too tired and don't know exactly what steps to take. And I know that you want to get your health right more than anything else, and really you should. This is your wealth. I mean, that's what everybody says. Your health is your wealth. And that's where I come in. For over 10 years, I've been working online, salvaging tons of bellies. It's my calling and it's my career. And over that decade, I've discovered what works and what doesn't work when it comes to cleansing the colon and balancing the biome. So sit tight, grab some water, grab a pen and paper, take notes, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do in your situation. The first thing that we have to understand is what you're up against, right? Like the competition that you're facing as you do everything you can to heal your gut as quickly as possible. Part of the competition is our addiction to strategies that never work. There are 4 strategies that never work, but people keep trying them. And I'm curious, which of these strategies are you trying right now? Number 1, chasing the magic bullet. This superfood has so many antioxidants in it that it's going to help you live a long life. This amazing herb will keep diabetes away if you take it every day. This one little pill will support your adrenal glands and give you enough energy without caffeine. We fall into the trap of all of the media and marketing of all of these products, that it's somehow this one thing is going to save us. And there's no one single food that's going to. Believing this will not help you in the long run because you'll keep chasing the next fad and then fill your pantry full of supplements and weird foods that your body doesn't even really want. Number 2, the second strategy is jumping on the next 30-day health fad. We become addicted to health trends. I once had a client say to me, I've tried everything from low fat to Atkins to raw food to vegetarianism and all the gut health diets out there, but nothing has worked. Really, I said, nothing has worked? Well, I guess they worked for a short time, but then I either hit a plateau or I just didn't want to eat that way anymore. I said to them, you didn't have a plan. What were you going to do when the 30 days was over? Were you really planning on sticking with raw food for the rest of your life when you started out? But people fall in love with health fads, but it's one of the strategies that never works, even though people keep trying them. The third strategy is taking an herbal cleanse with laxatives. It's dangerous to stay on laxatives for too long because it can damage the heart. Plus, they disrupt the electrolyte imbalance in the body and can cause dependency where the dose has to just keep increasing in order to keep going to the bathroom. Over time, the large intestine literally can become stretched and lazy. And this never works in the long run because it just gets you to poop your brains out until your colon is empty so that you have this temporary feeling of a flat tummy. The bloat comes right back after you stop the pills. The fourth strategy is taking probiotics. Now, this might surprise you. Probiotics are not the end-all, be-all to gut health. They have to have a home to live in that includes food that they like to eat, the proper pH, and the right communication between them and their human host. This is really the newest magic bullet when it comes to health. And I sell probiotics. I think that there's some benefit there, but when you're looking at this strategy alone, I think that's where this can quickly go wrong. So let's talk a little bit more about probiotics, for example. So instead, you really have to focus on eating consistently at the same time each day. This is big. Your body starts to predict that food is coming. Your digestive organs get ready to eat. And then when you take the time to actually sit down and eat at the same time each day, you digest your food better. It's amazing. And it works like magic. You'll feel just right before it's time to eat, your stomach starts gurgling, your body kind of gets in that mode for food. You might relax a little bit and even kind of be like, wow, I'm like, my energy shifted here, right? The other thing is that you also need 4 to 6 hours between meals to help the migrating motor complex activate. This migrating motor complex pushes microbes out of the small intestine. So you have to balance your blood sugar also to manage so long to go without food, right? Most people are eating every 3 to 4 hours because otherwise their blood sugar crashes. But after 5 hours of not eating and you're not hungry, you feel really nice. You're secure that you don't have to panic and run and grab anything to put in your mouth so you don't fall out from low blood sugar. For this to happen, you have to focus on your overall digestion and optimize it. When you say, but I'm taking my probiotics, you're actually saying everything I need to balance my microbiome is in this one little pill. I'm lazy and I just want to take this pill so I don't have to change my diet or take better care of myself. No. I hear this all the time from people. So let's talk about 3 things that you can start doing right away to turn the tide in your favor. When your microbiome is imbalanced, it's filled with bacteria and yeasts that are producing endotoxins. These endotoxins are excreted by the bacteria and they overload all your organ systems, and then you have symptoms to prove it. You feel tired, you get sick more often, you develop potentially chronic health conditions, digestion troubles you. You may have a higher risk for autoimmune disorder at this point in time. Your risk for diabetes increases. So many things. It's actually quite intense. I've witnessed this over and over in my practice. You're also more likely to be overweight. You get stressed more easily, and you feel moody and anxious. So I want to talk about some of the things I've discovered to balancing the microbiome. And the first one is the alkaline technique. So let's dig into the background and do some science for a minute so that you can understand exactly what I mean by this. We can't get bacteria to grow in an inhospitable environment. In fact, there are 2 main conditions that scientists are looking for when they're growing bacteria in the lab: pH and fuel. And I'll talk about fuel in a moment, but for now, let's just focus on pH. Bacteria in the human large intestine, like the environment, slightly acidic. The gastric juices help control the pH within each of your digestive organs. And in order to control that pH, your body needs minerals. Minerals come from alkaline forming foods. Zinc is one mineral associated with the creation of stomach acid, but your body needs a variety of minerals to balance the pH in all the different gastric juices. For example, the pH of the small intestine, it's not as acidic as the stomach, right? So when the food passes from the stomach into the small intestine, the pH of the small intestine is not as acidic because the bile salts that come from your liver, that come from your gallbladder, these bile salts neutralize the stomach acid, making the environment range between 5 and 6.8 on the pH scale. The food gets closer to a pH of 7, which is neutral. Neutral meaning it's not caustic, it can't burn, it's just a neutral pH. And as it passes further in the small intestine, it gets more neutral. This is important. The bile salts actually promote the digestion of fats. And now that the pathogenic bacteria and organisms have been killed off in the stomach, right? Like the stomach is so acidic. It's the place, it's like a sterilization pouch. It's where as soon as you eat food, all this food goes into your stomach. It gets highly acidic from your hydrochloric acid, and this kills off these pathogenic bacteria and organisms. This is key. But probiotics survive in this environment. They are able to pass through that stomach acid without dying because this is where they're supposed to be. This is where they live. This is where they thrive, right? And then they are able to survive that neutral environment of the small intestine until they make it all the way down to the large intestine where they can thrive in a lower, more acidic pH, their favorite environment. In order to get your bile salts working properly, again, you need minerals. These come from alkaline forming foods, right? So let's talk about, well, I guess let me actually just share a story. I'm going to share a story with you. So I remember a few years ago in a probiotic power cleanse that I ran, I worked with a woman named Nancy, and she was on proton pump inhibitors for well over a decade. She had suffered from acid reflux, and her doctors recommended that she use these proton pump inhibitors to help, stop the creation of acid in her stomach. She was taking Prilosec. So they wanted to help prevent heartburn. They wanted to make sure that nothing happened with her esophagus. But because her stomach acid production was reduced, she wasn't able to sterilize the food, and the low stomach acid was preventing her from breaking down minerals and protein. So when she tested her pH at the beginning of the cleanse, her results came out acidic. She was highly acidic. This was because she wasn't absorbing enough minerals from her food to nourish her mineral stores and help her body create a balanced pH in the gastric juices. Without those minerals, she was also experiencing an increase in her stress response because minerals like magnesium are what bathe and soothe the nervous system. That's why if you take magnesium at night, it helps you sleep better. She felt agitated and she was stressed out all the time over small things. She'd find herself spending more and more time calming down, right? Like she didn't want to travel. She had to limit her social activities. And eventually she felt really isolated because she needed to stay in that calm, quiet environment to keep her from getting stressed out. And after just 5 days on the probiotic power cleanse, she was able to feel calm for the first time in years. Her nervous system relaxed, her digestion got better. And after the cleanse, we worked in gut rebuilding together to wean her off of the proton pump inhibitors so that she could stop the negative cycle. What I witnessed was someone using food and herbs to balance the pH in their digestive system using mineral-rich foods. As her health continued to improve through this one foundational piece, she was able to get off the PPIs indefinitely, and her body came back to normal. She smiled more. She wasn't isolated anymore. She didn't feel like she needed all that quiet time. So she was able to be spontaneous with her friends and become more social. So use mineral-rich foods. Let them nourish your body, right? Like this is the foundation for everything that I'm about to teach in the next 3 points. So these next 3 elements, these 3 ideas, these 3 strategies are all under the heading of the alkaline technique. First off is feed the bacteria. You're a host, and all the trillions of bacteria living in your body, they're your guests. How are you treating them? They have special dietary needs. They eat fiber and prebiotics in order to thrive. But most people's digestion is too compromised to be able to tolerate the amount of fiber and prebiotics that are needed to properly feed the bacteria. You also need to serve your guests the best and highest quality food possible. This means pesticide-free foods and foods that aren't filled with chemicals, preservatives, and artificial ingredients. Like, would you serve your guests poison at the dinner table? I don't think so, but you are. So speaking of poisons, our medical system has severely disrupted our microbiomes. When the medical system started, it was trying to cure acute, life-threatening illnesses. It's been successful in that. The medical system can pat itself on the back. It succeeded. Acute, life-threatening illnesses are not the problem they were once in the past. But the effects of overdoing these drugs designed to save us has left us in a state of chronic illness. The medical system is terrible at treating and helping people with chronic illnesses. And that's where I come in. Food is medicine. Herbs as medicine. When used properly, you can begin to heal chronic illnesses and reverse the damage done by antibiotics, birth control pills, steroids, and the myriad of other pharmaceuticals that have been overprescribed. It's time for a new look at our medical system. My suggestion is that they keep working on the life-threatening illnesses. That still is relevant, but let nutritionists and health coaches teach people how to eat in a way that supports healing and vitality. Even functional medicine doctors are trained to think of illness as the enemy and supplements as the answer. It's still that same medical model that, here's the problem and here's the pill to solve it. Many clients come to me having been prescribed L-glutamine, hydrochloric acid, digestive enzymes, probiotics, bone broth, and even sauerkraut. I mean, the word is getting out. And some of these suggestions are useful, but it doesn't give the body what it truly needs to heal. This is like spraying salt water in the ocean and adding more fish into this like polluted ocean instead of actually cleaning up the mess and stopping the source of pollution in the first place. I need to explain exactly what's happening in the body when your microbiome is imbalanced, because this is key to understanding how to give your microbiome a makeover and start to cleanse the colon. Your microbiome is supposed to be like a rainforest, everything in balance, right? Nature running its course. They keep your immune system strong. They produce vitamins to keep you healthy. They create short-chain fatty acids to fuel the body. This balance is crucial to a healthy life. When your microbiome is imbalanced, you end up with microorganisms out of balance in your intestines. This means you have bacteria and yeasts growing unchecked. They produce endotoxins, which irritate your tissues, cause brain fog, make you feel crappy, and they can even affect your emotional outlook. When I did my first cleanse, I remember on day 5, it's always about day 4 or 5. On day 5, I remember looking around and feeling like a wool blanket had been pulled out of my brain. I felt calm. I didn't feel anxious. And that was probably the first time I'd ever felt that way in my life. I felt so amazing that I felt like I needed to shout it from the rooftops. And that initial experience of mine is really what led me here today to share this information with you. My body was really sick though. Like I still had a lot of work to do. I was recovering from emotional trauma and antibiotic overuse. And I had used hard drugs for years to try and cope. So totally clogging up my whole system with tons of toxins. And at the height of my stress and sickness, I had multiple chemical sensitivity. I couldn't sit in a new car without getting nauseous because of the off-gassing. Walking down the laundry detergent aisle at the grocery store made me sick. I had environmental allergies. So, pollen season, it seemed like every year pollen season just kept getting longer and longer. My eyes were watering, my nose was running, I was itchy, uncomfortable, and exhausted. There was only about 30 foods that I could eat without having a reaction to them. And I was bloated. I had IBS. I could not figure out what was going on with my digestion. I was extremely addicted to sugar. Oh my gosh. I was an emotional eater and my moods were up and down. I was angry. I was sad. I was emotional. I was so stressed out that it felt like the world was ending in every moment. And I constantly thought I was dying. I was so fearful and toxic that I ended up with panic attacks. And I even panic attacks in the middle of the night. I would wake up in the middle of the night with a panic attack. I was getting probably like 3 to 5 panic attacks per week. I had dandruff. I had rashes, hives, and I was literally so uncomfortable in my skin that I fantasized that I could somehow just take it off and step outside. I had many layers of the onion to peel back before I could get well. And my personal experience with this has really helped me become a compassionate and empathetic healer with all my clients. I know what it feels like to hit rock bottom, feel completely powerless, helpless, and too broke to fix it. Luckily, most of you are not suffering quite as badly as I was. I'm actually really good at helping people who are dealing with mild to moderate chronic health conditions. So if you're listening right now, and you feel lost as to what to do next, stick around. I've got a few more strategies to show you to help you understand how to get out of this sticky situation that you're in. So the second strategy is getting the liver to start functioning optimally. Some people say that your liver is king. Your liver is in charge of too many jobs to list and cover here in this. I mean, we could spend hours just talking about all of the work that the liver does. But when it comes to cleansing the colon and removing toxins so that your microbiome can flourish, your liver is number 1 at detoxifying. It literally spends a ton of your daily, activities converting poisons and toxins that are harmful for the brain and harmful for your tissues into harmless molecules that you can pee or poop out. When you've taken antibiotics, eaten the non-organic, processed, and chemically laden foods, or maybe experienced chronic stress or trauma like I did, you've done damage to your microbiome. Even the stress and the trauma, it puts you in a state of high cortisol, and that cortisol does damage to the microbiome. When this happens, you allow the pathogenic bacteria and yeast to grow like crazy in your gut. They release these endotoxins, LPS, all these various, organic acids and things that are irritating the lining of the intestines and getting absorbed into the bloodstream. And once you have some of the, imbalance, some dysbiosis going on in your gut, it only continues to feed more dysbiosis, because some species of bacteria, when they start growing in larger amounts, it actually feeds and nourishes, like their excretions actually feed and nourish other kinds of bacteria. They live in an ecology. They don't just live by themselves. So they all live together. The best example I can think of is like a dirty house where, you have been like dropping food everywhere and you don't clean up and you just leave that food around. And over time, cockroaches come and find it and they start eating it. And then you have, mice and rats and things that come starting to feed on that. And then you just, it's like, it's not just the one bug that's coming to clean this mess up. It's like with that bug comes these other critters as well. They're connected. They live in their own ecology together. Just like we have ecologies all over this planet, there's different kinds of organisms that thrive together. It's the same exact way in your gut. So they're releasing all these endotoxins in your gut, and your blood now starts absorbing those. Like literally they pass through the intestinal lining that's 1 cell thick. It goes into your bloodstream, and then the blood goes straight to the liver to get filtered out so that it doesn't go to your brain full of all these toxins. This is key. That's one of the jobs of the liver, to keep your brain safe from the toxicity. In a normal, healthy human, we have toxicity that happens. We have all of these metabolic wastes that the liver has to, digest and process and detoxify. But our body knows how to only do that, normal amount. Sadly, this massive toxin overload prevents the liver from doing the other work that it needs to do. And over time can cause you to have hormone imbalance, moodiness, because it can't properly process the neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, various things like that. You may end up with aches and pains. Mental fogginess is a big one for folks in this situation. And then many other chronic nagging health conditions and digestive problems that people most of the time chalk up to aging. And I call this the human sewer situation. Your bloodstream becomes the sewer and your liver the waste treatment plant for the metropolis of toxic bacteria taking over the intestines. It's kind of gross to think about, really. All right, let's talk about the third strategy I have for you. So the third one is to balance blood sugar. This is a silent and deadly issue in our world today. Due to the massive amount of sugar-laden foods combined with the death of our probiotics in our intestines, most people are dealing with blood sugar imbalance and mild insulin resistance. By 2050, it's purported that 1 in 3 people will have diabetes. 1 in 3. That is insane. Diabetes is a food-based illness. It's a lifestyle-created illness. You don't wake up with diabetes. You get it over decades of dealing with low-level, nearly undetectable insulin resistance. People think it's normal to have low blood sugar, and they easily accommodate that by eating every 3 to 4 hours. If I don't eat right now, my blood sugar is going to dip. This is a huge mistake. Insulin is a major hormone that helps cells get access to sugar so that it can produce energy, right? That cell needs to produce energy. It needs sugar to do so. And when insulin is higher than normal for extended lengths of time, your cells begin to have trouble getting more sugar inside to use for energy. So this isn't, obviously like this little negative feedback loop. It causes you to crave even more sugar. This terrible cycle keeps going and going, or the insulin keeps going up and the sugar intake increases. The insulin goes up, and then over time, insulin keeps you craving more and more sugar and carbs to keep your cells able to produce energy. Insulin also locks fat cells and makes it impossible to burn fat. When insulin is present, it tells the body that there is sugar in the blood, and that sugar gets a higher priority than fat. Like, we don't need to deal with that fat right now. That's for later when there's no more sugar present. But your fat cells are actually a great source of easy, natural energy. You should be able to go for 24 hours without eating and not experience a blood sugar crash. A healthy body with a normal insulin response can easily switch to burning fat so that you don't have to fall out. You don't have to start shaking and sweating and freaking out. I've been there. It's awful. We trained our bodies to become sugar dependent. This is ruining people's microbiomes. Instead of feeding probiotics, you're feeding yeasts and you're feeding the sugar-loving bacteria in the gut. And what you feed grows. I feel like that should be my mantra. What you feed grows. But when you have insulin resistance, it's very difficult to stop eating sugar. You crash, there's withdrawals, you literally have no energy for a period of time. And it's hard to stick with it long enough for the body to actually reset and go into the normal and natural fat burning mode that each and every one of you should have access to. Okay, so here's a typical case in my practice. Aaliyah came to me a few years ago with stomach pain and cravings for cakes and brownies. She was 60 pounds overweight. And, she was such a kind mother. She's like talking about her kids. She starts crying and telling me about how some days she literally couldn't get off the couch in order to hang out with her kids after work. Her husband was in the military and she was a solo mom while he was deployed. He'd come back in great physical shape and she felt fat and gross compared to how she looked when they first met. And she was determined to feel better. She deep down knew that she deserved to. So I put her through the probiotic power cleanse, and within 3 days, her stomach pain disappeared. And after the cleanse was over, she was shocked to discover that her cravings for cake had disappeared as well. She lost 13 pounds during the 10 days, and she was ecstatic. She was so pleased with the results that we got working together that she worked with me in gut rebuilding for the next 6 months after that to get her weight down even more and just keep getting these good results. She was like, okay, I'm onto something. Let's keep going here. At the 6-month mark, she had lost 44 pounds and felt confident enough to take this practice on her own to continue her work towards even greater health. She spotted me a couple years later at the grocery store and approached me all smiles. As I began to recognize her slimmed down version of her old self, she thanked me profusely and she told me that I completely changed her life. She had the energy that she wanted. She spends time with her kids. She feels like she's feeding her kids in a way that is going to support them to be the healthiest possible. And really is moments like this that fuel me to keep getting this message out. The 3 strategies, these 3 simple strategies that I just shared with you can work for you too. And I know it because I've worked with thousands of people. And your situation isn't unique. More importantly, your situation is not hopeless. You're not broken. Maybe you're not thinking all of this right now at the forefront, but underneath, whenever we uncover what's going on with people and when they're really sick and when they're dealing with like chronic low-grade stuff where they're still functioning life, they're still getting stuff done, but on this like low-grade level, there's like headaches, there's aches and pains, there's stomach problems, there on some level, there's some part of you that starts to feel like you're broken, especially when you've tried a lot of things and they haven't worked. And the strategies that I have been using for the past 10 years work with people in all kinds of situations and circumstances. The reason the techniques that you've tried so far aren't working to get rid of the toxins, to cleanse your colon and balance the microbiome is because you've adopted a modern approach to a body that has evolved slowly. Like, let's zoom out. Like, take this in the context of 10,000 years. Our bodies were designed to eat very differently and act differently than we do today. We weren't meant to sit still all day long or hold in our emotions or eat junk food or have all this convenience food or be eating while we're walking or eating while we're driving, like having all this information like flying by our heads all the time, raising our stress levels. We really weren't even meant to be exposed to this level of toxicity that now is coming from our environment. You live in a culture that is broken. You have to make changes that go against what everyone else is doing that is causing them to be sick in order to actually heal your body and feel amazing. I just want to say that again. Like, that is huge. For the past, there was a period of time for years where I just felt like I was this outsider. Like, I felt like, why am I so special, or what's wrong with me that I have to be doing things different? And it wasn't until I realized that our culture is broken and I realized that you have to make the changes that go against what everybody else is doing when they're not doing it right. When those actions that they're taking are causing them to be sick, they're not taking the right actions. You actually have to do something different. You have to do something that works. Stop doing what doesn't work and try something that has a chance of working. So here's how I can help you save yourself from chronic health concerns starting right now. I just put the finishing touches on my program, the Probiotic Power Cleanse, that outlines in step-by-step detail the most effective human sewer reversing strategies that I developed in my 10 years in private practice, and by healing my own body from that myriad of frustrating and uncomfortable symptoms. It's different than any other cleanse you've seen, and this program really has taken my lifetime to develop. You know, I was shopping on my Kindle the other day. I'm an avid reader, an avid Audible listener, and I was looking at all the books on cleansing and digestive health, and every book I saw was like how to go keto, you know, how to eat paleo, or how to go vegan, how to heal your body by taking L-glutamine, hydrochloric acid, digestive enzymes, probiotics, drinking bone broth, all of these, but none of them talked about how to actually feed both you, the host, and your guests the probiotics. They didn't talk about eliminating toxins by, you know, inviting new guests into your gut and kicking those nasty old guests out that aren't treating you well. It's so much about supplements and not enough about food. And the ones that are about food are missing some of the major macronutrients that we need to survive in the long run for a sustainable diet. None of them are explaining the alkaline technique while also paying attention to blood sugar. And really, they're not focusing on the liver and also prebiotics and how these two things work together. But more importantly, none of them are talking about biofeedback, such as testing the pH and testing the blood sugar to get your body to do the work of balancing the microbiome for you as it's supposed to do. When you get those things right, the body actually just kind of it clicks, right? And it can actually host the right microbiome for you. And then the other problem is that they aren't looking at the whole system working together in concert. They're taking one part of the digestive tract, like low stomach acid, and adding the hydrochloric acid. And when they go one step deeper to see that zinc deficiency causes this, they recommend taking zinc. But what about going one step deeper than that and feeding the body all the nutrients it needs through food and herbs to make over the microbiome while supporting the human body? Not in this refined, isolated supplement kind of way. They're giving you small pieces that may help a little, but in the long run, they leave you not knowing whether or not it's working because you just don't have a way to track it easily. And most of the time, people aren't seeing their symptoms actually shift. The Probiotic Power Cleanse is about one thing. It's exactly what to do to remove toxins that are inundating your body, especially when you've tried everything else. If you're feeling in your gut that this is what you want to do and you want to learn more, go ahead and visit probioticpowercleanse.com/registration to sign up. There are some people that this might not be right for. So let's talk about that for a second. This process of doing a probiotic power cleanse might not be right for you if you're pregnant or nursing. You can participate, but you'll have to modify your diet to be able to do this safely for you and your child. And I do not recommend the cleanse kit if you are breastfeeding or pregnant. There is too much risk of the herbs that I have in the cleanse kit interfering with your body's work. If you have thyroid disorders such as Hashimoto's, please go to shopgutsandglory.com to order the parts of the cleanse kit minus the protein power and the energy power. There are herbs contained in these products that are not ideal for those struggling with thyroid disease. And you'll also make a few modifications to the cleanse to include more protein until your thyroid condition is stable. If you're on multiple medications, I recommend that you start with my gut rebuilding program instead of the probiotic power cleanse. You can visit gutrebuilding.com to read about it there. Actually, you can go to gutrebuilding.com/get-started to read about it there. And then if you're underweight and struggling to maintain your weight, I also recommend that you participate in gut rebuilding instead of doing this cleanse. So let's talk about some of the strategies that will save your microbiome that are in the cleanse. And if you're not sure if this is right for you or not, go ahead and chat in the chat box and ask questions about whether or not your circumstance is the appropriate one to be doing a cleanse. All right, so this program shows you exactly what to do, the exact foods to eat, the pH tests to take, helping you every step of the way, guiding and coaching you to save your microbiome as quickly as possible. I'll teach some common sense strategies that your that you're probably already using right now and why they won't work. We're going to talk about the one thing that you have to check every single day to know whether your body is on the right track or not. I'm going to explain the trigger foods that you're immediately putting your body into an acidic state, and they're defeating your chance of ever getting your mineral levels up. I think you might be disappointed to know that some of these you're using every day. And then we'll talk about what your body really does when you keep unknowingly overloading your liver instead of loving it. And I'm going to teach you the techniques for clearing out your liver and actually start to love it up. Also, what to eat and what not to eat while cleansing so that your body can experience the transformation, and how to balance blood sugar and get out of insulin resistance. We'll talk about how to feed the beneficial bacteria so your body can receive the benefits of our gracious guests. Really, we have got to start treating them like guests. And then we'll talk about what the 7 channels of elimination are and how to clear them naturally. Talk about how to avoid cleansing reactions through skill and awareness, and how to address the underlying drivers of bad habits through emotional and spiritual detox. We're going to talk about how to work while cleansing so that you don't have to do this without taking time off. And then we're going to discuss the 5 things that you can start doing regularly that will clear the toxins coming into the liver and start turning the tide in your favor. Also going to talk about why the advice of well-meaning professionals and friends is actually making it impossible for your microbiome to get balanced because they're not seeing this big picture. We'll talk more about that. And why focusing 100% on chasing the next fad or magic bullet is like shooting yourself in the foot. How to properly break a cleanse and what to do afterwards to maximize the probiotic power that you've accomplished. And how to overcome the most self-defeating mindset. Once you realize it, it's like flipping a switch that will show you exactly what you need. So the Probiotic Power Cleanse is a live program, and it is from October 20th to October 30th. In order to get the most out of your cleansing experience, I've also formulated and compiled some of the most supportive herbs and probiotics for you. When I was trained as an herbalist 17 years ago, I learned about powerful herbs for the digestive system. And I focused on creating formulations and putting these herbs together and experimenting with them on myself and with my clients and really coming up with some amazing products. I actually, at one point in time when I was doing this cleanse, I started to try to find some of these products on the market and I couldn't find them. So that's when I really started making my own and delving in deeper. And when my production got too big to handle, I hired an experienced herbalist to take over production. So I formulated this cleanse kit to support the body to detox more effectively without forgetting about the probiotics. And the cleanse kit is amazing. It contains probiotics. Ooh, I have some here. It contains probiotics. It has 2 packs of alkaline protein power. This little guy right here, we get 2 of these. It has 1 packet of energy power, which I've opened and used because I love this stuff. We have a package here of the Root Power Detox Tea. There's also Sweet and Gentle Bitters, which is a spray so that you can use it very easily. You can keep it in your purse and make sure that you're doing that before meals. It also contains pH strips, so you can test your pH every day on the cleanse, and a skin scrubby. And this will help with your skin, which is one of your major channels of elimination, as well as your lymph, which is another major channel of elimination. And it comes with a supplement schedule for when to take them during the cleanse and how to do it. So let's talk about each of these products real quick. So the probiotics will help you repopulate your gut with the much needed beneficial bacteria that have been missing from all of the antibiotics and stress and improper foods. The alkaline protein power is an herbal powder that is designed to get your plant-based protein in your smoothies and juices without making your body more acidic. So it's a kind of a fast track for getting more minerals into your body while still getting protein. The intestinal power contains herbal drawing agents. These soak up and absorb the toxins that are being produced by some of these, bacteria that shouldn't really be growing in such big numbers. And it will also help soak up some of the toxins as your liver releases some from storage to get rid of in your waste. The energy power helps your poor adrenals rest and restore so that you can get out of fight or flight. And then the root power detox tea is filled with longevity herbs and liver detox herbs that support the liver to function optimally and increase detoxification so that you can maximize your cleansing efforts. Plus, it's freaking delicious. I love that stuff. The sweet and gentle bitters are designed to be taken before each meal to calm your nervous system down and get you out of fight or flight, but also while stimulating gastric juices and helping to balance the pH of these gastric juices so that you can pull all the nutrients out of your food more effectively. The pH strips will give you an understanding of how acidic or alkaline your body is. And the skin scrubby, as I said, will help you, slough off all the dead skin cells, open up your pores, move the lymph system so that you can move more waste out of your body. All right, so here's how you can start changing your health in the next 10 minutes. When you visit probioticpowercleanse.com/registration, you'll be taken to a registration page. You can click on the register now button at the top and it will scoot you right down to the little buy box and it says kiss those toxins bye-bye. Click on that button and go to the secure order page and you can enter your credit card information there. And I use a secure processing company. Your order is confidential. Your information is confidential. You can choose to get both the Probiotic Power Cleanse Kit as well as your spot in the program, or you can opt out of the Cleanse Kit if you want to shop for all the components yourself. It's just easier to get the kit. I will give you a shopping list and instructions for you if you want to build your own from scratch, but if you want to save some time, I've made this kit exactly to go along with this cleanse. So at that point, once you've made that decision, your order is processed immediately and you'll get an email and receipt. And in the email, you're going to get instructions to access the course and get in our private Facebook group. This really is not just about learning how to cleanse and utilizing all the strategies that I'm going to show you. It's also about doing it with a community of people and creating an experience together. So you're all going to be doing this together. And every time I've run this, it's been a different experience because of the group of people present. The whole process will take a few minutes to go through and do the order. And then you're going to be starting your journey just as soon as you read the email and follow the instructions. When you get access to the Facebook group, I want you to introduce yourself. Even if you're shy, even if you're one of those people that likes to hang out in the wings, this is an important part of being successful in your transformation. And then you can access your official Probiotic Power Cleanse handbook and start reading. The earlier that you decide to register, the more time that you have to prepare your kitchen, your mind, your body, and your family so that you can be completely successful in this group experience. And whatever happens, you'll use this information as a constant reference as you're going through it. So you don't really even have to decide completely. You can join this program with 100% money-back guarantee. And I know that if you for sure knew the answer to your nagging health concerns was in this program, you'd want to have it, right? You'd want to do it. That's why I'm giving you a chance to try it out before you decide if you're really going to keep it. The Probiotic Power Cleanse comes with 100% money-back guarantee. You participate in the program, you try the strategies. You have 7 days once the cleanse begins to begin to try it out. And that offers you the opportunity to see if this is right for you. And if the strategies and information in this program are not useful, we're going to cheerfully refund your money and you can keep the multimedia materials. The cleanse kit itself is not refundable. So go to probioticpowercleanse.com/registration to order your program. And to express your gratitude for creating and supporting you in this program, I'm requesting $395 to attend the live cleanse. So that's to hold your spot and participate in 6 group calls. So we're going to be live on video talking, we usually have 45 minutes to 90 minutes. Because depending on how big the group is, sometimes I go longer to help really support everybody and get them through the cleanse in a way that works for them. We have these 6 calls. You're going to get trainings on all the different things that you need. Every day or every other day, you'll get a training that comes out that teaches you exactly what to do next. And then all of it is in the handbook. So you can print out the handbook and actually just follow through in the handbook and get everything you need to know there. So I'm also, let's see. Oh yeah. And I'm requesting $175 for the cleanse kit. And this is an expression of gratitude from you to me in all the work and years that I've put into this in helping people and making this the best possible program and cleanse kit that it can be. Okay, I have some kind of exciting news. So this is for those of you that are watching this or listening to this live. I've obtained 120 bonuses to include in the purchase of the cleanse kit. So again, as an expression of my gratitude for you signing up today so that we can start getting a better count of the participants in this program, I'm going to give the first 50 people that register and buy the cleanse kit Liver Lover Warming Bitters Tincture, which helps the gastric juices flow better and balances the pH to increase mineral absorption. This is a little different than the Sweet and Gentle Bitters. The Sweet and Gentle Bitters has a calming effect. The Liver Lover Warming Bitters is stronger and better at extracting minerals from the food you eat. And this product is $19.95, and you're going to get the full-size bottle. This isn't a sample bottle. The bonuses after that are smaller, but they're still wonderful. Some bonuses have been contributed by my colleagues who have created products that are so stellar and ingenious that there was no reason for me to go out and produce them myself. But I do want you to know about them because they're awesome. The second bonus is a sampler pack of bitter lozenges that Megan Hentz created in the Fermentationist Certification Program. So they have no alcohol in them. And the amount of alcohol in tinctures is less than what's in a ripe piece of fruit, but some people are just so sensitive to alcohol that they need something without it. And Megan had created this amazing alternative. So for the next, I think it's like 25 people we have of those are going to get one of her sampler packs. So you can try them out for free and discover how brilliant and delicious they are. And the third bonus is a small sampler pack of Anne-Marie Gianni skincare. Kevin and Anne-Marie, the owners of this company, are dear friends of mine, and they're on a mission to change the face of skincare using no preservatives and the highest quality organic ingredients. And so as we run out of each bonus, we'll replace it with the next in line. We've already had 20 people say yes to this program, and it looks like I'll have to look up the numbers here in a minute. I can pull them up, but it looks like we've had at least another 20 start signing up since this call. So this is an amazing experience that we're going to be creating together. And I can help you, but you have to take the first step. And I really look forward to seeing your name pop in my inbox today, showing me that you're on board to have this amazing experience and transformation together. So again, the Probiotic Power Cleanse is from October 20th to 30th, and this 10-day cleanse is designed to help you raise your alkalinity and create the proper pH in the digestive organs and gastric juices so that your system automatically is designed to kill off pathogenic organisms and support the growth of beneficial bacteria. I'm going to open it up for Q&A here in a second, okay? So get ready. We're going to do some Q&A. But please follow these instructions to get your questions answered. So this is just for the people on Zoom. If you're on the backup line, this isn't going to work out. But for those of you who are on the Zoom, you write your name in the chat box, write your name and where you're calling in from. And then I want you to say, my question is, and then one piece of pertinent background information is. So that's the formula. I'll call on the people who follow this format. So another couple things before I switch over to Q&A while you guys are writing in your questions and starting that. A couple questions that I get. One is, how many of the strategies in the Probiotic Power Cleanse will work for me? And the truth is I don't know, but I do know that over 1,000 people have participated in this cleanse, and I get emails from people asking me when the next one will start. I have videos and countless stories emailed to me from participants praising the program and telling me how it changed their lives. And I wouldn't keep doing this if I hadn't gotten so many positive results in people. Their microbiome is more balanced than ever, and they still can't believe that they got their energy levels back, the mental clarity, and lost extra weight through just doing these food changes alone. And let's just say you don't do the program. Where will that leave you? Will you get your microbalance using the current strategy? Probably not. Will you be kicking yourself in the next 6 months if you didn't try everything possible to get your gut right? Probably. I guess I can't. I can't make the decision for you. It's 100% up to you. And I can help you, but you have to take the first step. And if you get stuck or you need to work with me privately, you can have the private Facebook group to talk to, and you can also set up a private session with me so that you don't have to struggle through this alone. So, if you need to reach out and set up a private session instead, you can at summerbach.com/workwithme new. And there's hyphens in between each of those words, work with me new. So while we're waiting for the chat box to keep filling up here, I am going to get ready for the little Q&A portion, and I'm going to load up a video for you guys to watch super quick. It's less than 3 minutes long. Let's see if this works. Please work. I might have to turn this up really loud.
Hi, my name is Amy Conley, and I am doing the Probiotic Power Cleanse.
Hi, it's Christy, and I'm doing the Summer Box Probiotic Power Cleanse. Hi there, my name is Lori Heron, and I am from Bethel, Maine, live in the Western Maine Mountains, and I am so excited to be doing this Probiotic Power Cleanse. This is Christy Cousins. I did this cleanse for health reasons. I've been thinking about going alkaline for a really long time, and so this is really the motivation that I've needed to stop putting it in my diet and in my regimen.
So I am doing the Probiotic Power Cleanse because I still have symptoms of Crohn's disease.
So some of the things that I personally want to accomplish with this cleanse is to get my belly cleaned up.
And in fact, I just got this message that I needed to do, something different with my diet.
And I want to learn how to eat in a healthy way.
You know, I really want to, I really need to. I guess I must, I have to, it's imperative that I learn to, a different response to the stress in my life.
The cleanse was awesome. I've done a lot of cleanses, lots of cleanses, and none of them have come close to the results that I have experienced on this cleanse.
When Summer mentioned about doing a pH test, I said, this cleanse is for me.
I ate real Nicole last night. I realized I've used food as a crutch.
So I'm going to open my Power Cleanse kit, get started taking my pH levels. I'm going to look into the Power Cleanse handbook, get me a smoothie recipe, and as the saying goes, let the games begin.
This detox tea, OMG, it's to die for.
No problem. Day 3, I'm thinking my pH is fine. I'm ready to go to the deep cleanse.
I bought the Power Cleanse kit because, quite honestly, I have so much going on in my life. I didn't want to have to run around looking for everything that I needed. All the products in there are excellent, and I'm glad that I made that decision to do that.
Hi. All right, it's Christy Kinsey, and this is it. This is the end of Summer Box Probiotic Power Cleanse.
We're coming to a close on the cleanse.
I feel definitely like I can concentrate and focus, and I have more energy.
The favorite thing about the cleanse was the live calls. I just really appreciated the time that you took to support, guide, and instruct all of us, Summer.
Take away from doing a probiotic power cleanse, I would say I've learned that cleansing is not just about the physical, but it's also about the emotional.
What I'm taking away from this is I'm going to keep a much closer track on my pH, which I've never done before.
I have signed up for the gut rebuilding, moving on to the gut rebuilding program because I know it's the right thing to do. And thank you, Summer. My life is looking up.
So go ahead, take the plunge through the probiotic power cleanse and be your best self.
Happy cleansing, guys.
Okay. All right, so I see some questions have come in. Awesome, possum. All right, let me get situated here so I can get a little bit closer to the screen and read the fine print of your questions. 1 second, I'll do that. Okay, let's sit down here. I wanted to be able to stand. Whoops. All right, sorry for the loud noises. I just wanted to be able to stand during that so that I had enough energy. I hate sitting all day. It does not bode well. All right, let's look. It's nice to see everybody talking there. All right. All right, let me get down to is this program right for me? I'm on thyroid meds. This is Deb. I'm on thyroid meds for hypothyroidism. I've had candida, leaky gut, past cancer, radiation, chemo, spleen removed, years of antibiotics in the past. Have been working on trying to repair system following Dr. Axe and Dr. Amy Myers for the past year to begin changes. I've followed you during this time, but I don't have a lot of money, and being in Canada costs 25 to 30% more due to the exchange. Deb, you know, if the only meds that you're on are the thyroid meds, we can work in this program for the probiotic power cleanse. I think it definitely could be a fit. If you feel like you want to do something slower and have a little bit more time to work together, you could also consider the gut rebuilding program. So I think you kind of have two options, and it's just really for you about, like how quickly do you want to see a shift? Because in the probiotic power cleanse, you're going to start to see a transformation within a very short amount of time. Whereas gut rebuilding, we're just working on steadily bringing in over the course of 8 weeks, new steps and new things that you can do to keep helping your body. Victoria, she asked the same question about, I have Hashimoto's and I take the levothyroxine, TSH and T4 levels are good. The cleanse, I think this cleanse could work for you. I think what you have to make sure of is that you eat more protein than what I recommend for everybody else during the 10 days. And you're also going to not want to take the two supplements that I mentioned, the energy power and the protein power. So I would go into shopgutsandglory.com and grab the components of the kit. You can look at the kit and see which ones you need other than those two products. It's very important. Barbara says, is it possible to do the power cleanse at a different time as I'm abroad during the time it will happen? Well, you can come in. We've had people do this every time we've run it. We always run it live. And one option is to, go ahead and participate, get the cleanse kit, get all the support, get the official handbook and all of the materials. And when you come back, you can start it then. If it's shortly after the cleanse is over or even during the cleanse, maybe the last part of it, you can come back and still join the group. We still have people coming in near the end and being like, okay, this is when I could start, or I just kind of got my act together and I'm starting now. So there will be time for that group to still be up and active. It's just you're not going to have the entire momentum of the whole group, but if you're self-directed, this could work. I did cleanses on my own many, many times. Dawn Neary says, my pH is always so acidic. I'm wondering if I should be at least using the alkaline powder. Well, Dawn, I know a lot about you because we've been working together for a while. And I think that we should talk about some other strategies for you, because I think you just always need to keep it to simple ingredients. So I almost would rather you have like one thing that you're doing for making your body more alkaline. And for you, I would either do some sort of greens powder that was just one ingredient, or like using more vegetables in your diet and steaming them or cooking them slowly and using like some more green vegetables, things that you can digest easily. But you have to go kind of slow. I'm not keen on you doing the cleanse right now. Laura says, I recently started having liver gallbladder pain. I have all the symptoms you have described for yourself. I have been doing fermented foods for 3 years. What can you recommend? Honestly, Laura, I would recommend jumping on board and doing the probiotic power cleanse. We have a lot of people come through this program that have liver gallbladder pain. And when they do the cleanse, because of the way I have you eat during this, you aren't going to be like, I ask you to not go too fast on it. Like I teach you how to slow the cleanse down or speed it up as you need to based on what your body is telling you. So during that time, we've had people have their liver and gallbladder pain go away. So it is possible that could be a result for you as well. But I think this is the first place to start for sure. Anne says, the gut rebuilding site just has a link to the webinar. I said, when I said gutrebuilding.com, I realized that. And I said, go to gutrebuilding.com/get started. If it doesn't work, you may have to go ahead and go to sign up for the webinar, and it will email you the link to see it. And that, it's worthwhile for you to go watch that webinar, honestly, because it will tell you if that's a good fit for you or not. Anna says, can I start this program in April? I will not be able to get the kit and do the cleanse properly at this time where I live in Poland. Hi, Anna. Nice to see you here. One of our fermentationists. Yes, because we'll be doing this again in 6 months. Absolutely. If this just is not the right time for you, come back in April. I think that's a great idea. I'm not exactly sure the dates at this moment, but yes. Nancy, does Guts to Glory 60-day program include the probiotic cleanse strategy? No, it doesn't. I'm assuming the 60-day program you're talking about, gut rebuilding, it does. It talks about. Well, let me rephrase this. The first principle of gut rebuilding talks about how to eat more alkaline, and I actually recommend that people go for 7 days on an alkaline, high alkaline or 100% alkaline if they can. And what I've noticed is that it's really hard for people to do that. And so that's why I do the Probiotic Power Cleanse separately as its own program, because it's just really giving you all the support that you need to make those changes. And really, people need other people with them doing it, and a lot of other people. So I've really found that I keep the Probiotic Power Cleanse as an integral part of this business for people to be able to go do the cleanse and then go back and do gut rebuilding as more of a longer term strategy. So you'll get parts of it in gut rebuilding, but you don't get the level of detail. We don't go into this deeper cleanse phase. I don't talk all about breaking the cleanse. So this is different. This is a lot more detailed, a lot more thorough. And it's really timed where each day you're given the information that you need to move forward and know exactly, I'll train you on, what foods to eat, what foods to buy. I give you meal plans and things like that. But then when we get closer to the end, I talk about how to break the cleanse properly so that you don't kind of go back to where you were, or don't just jump back to eating what you were and, mess up all the progress that you made. Let's see. I'm just going to, I'm getting a few questions here I see about the gut rebuilding program. So I'm just going to put this link in here. The best thing I can say for sure, if you're interested in learning more about gut rebuilding, is go to gutrebuilding.com and go watch the webinar there. It's a fantastic webinar, and I teach a lot about the mistakes that people make when they're trying to heal their gut and what to do instead. And that program is fantastic. We have an ongoing program. We've always got a great group of people in there. We have moderators. I highly recommend go check that out. But this Probiotic Power Cleanse is really meant for a faster transformation and experience. I think that's what it was for me when I did my own cleanse. That very first time, I had this experience that from that point forward, you could have told me, hey, Summer, cleansing is awesome. You should try it. Or, hey, Summer, eating great is awesome. You should try it. But I think what it was is I had this experience of feeling so good. And then from that point forward, I had something to guide me towards how I needed to feel the rest of the time when I wasn't cleansing. So it's really creating that experience. So now you have it. It's palpable. It's something in your body. It's something that your body will remember. And it's something that will help you understand, how important this connection to food is between how you feel both mentally and physically. BH New says, my question, that's different. Also, you mentioned trigger foods. Could you name a few? In terms of acidic foods, I think, something that I'll name that most people are kind of shocked by is that, packaged foods, even if they're high quality foods like almond milk, coconut milk, things like that, when they've been packaged, they tend to be more acidic. So that's one part of this. which they're fine once you get your alkalinity up. You can add in some of the more convenient stuff, and you're able to process those acidic byproducts more easily. But for somebody who needs to shift and needs to get their body more alkaline, that can be a big one. Coffee is a huge trigger food for people. Coffee is delicious. I love coffee. Let's be real. But I can't drink coffee when my body is acidic. It'll make it go crazy. But coffee pulls minerals out of your body, and it takes minerals in order to buffer that and buffer the acidity. So, it actually messes with the pH of the digestive tract. So coffee, huge trigger food. So I hope that helps. Eva says, my question is, I feel overall well and have a healthy lifestyle, but thought I wanted to work with you to learn more from you so I can implement more info with my family. Do you recommend gut rebuilding or the probiotic power cleanse? Eva, I recommend the probiotic power cleanse. I think it's a great first start. I think this is a really fun way for you to just dive in and have that transformation. And if you're feeling it, if it's working for you, head on over to gut rebuilding afterwards and, keep learning. Karina from Colorado, does this help with candida overgrowth? I'm bloated, crave sugar, and feel tired a lot. Yes, this is, we're really working on not feeding candida during this whole cleanse. It's a big part of this. So I'll talk about candida a couple times, within the program and things to pay attention to. But one of the main tenets of the probiotic power cleanse is that we balance out some of the macromolecules like carbs, proteins, and fats within this program so that you're able to, using these meal plans, actually paying attention to getting enough fuel every day. You're not going overboard with sugar and carbs. You're able to get just the right amount to feed your body and not feed the annoying candida. Catherine, could you talk a little bit about gut rebuilding and doing it before the cleanse? I feel like I kind of covered that. If you have any other specific questions, let me know. Laura from India, I have all the symptoms you described, been doing ferments for 3 years. Oh, I think I already answered that one too. Will it help with liver, gallbladder pain? Yes, that definitely is a good option for you to try out. Let me see here, one sec. My chat notes just got lost there. Hold on, let me pull them all up. Okay, so where did it go? Courtney says, my question is, I'm taking, I don't know how to say this, valacyclovir daily, 1 gram. Will it be okay to do the cleanse? Yes. Yes. And in fact, the cleanse itself is useful in the body. Like when you balance the microbiome and you balance bacteria and yeasts, you're also increasing your immunity, and it makes it easier to fight off viruses. So in general, like your immune system functions better. So that might be good for you in the long run anyway. Nancy, again, says, can I do the program without being on Facebook? Yes, absolutely. You do have to have online access because the program is delivered multimedia, but you do not have to be on Facebook. We have multiple clients that aren't on Facebook. However, that's where a lot of the support happens. That's where our moderators are. That's where I go in and answer questions, for people. And so that's kind of like, if you have a question right then and you want to know the answer to it, or you want to hear other people's opinions, and if you want to just see what other people are going through so that you can start to either get inspired or motivated, or even in certain moments be like, wow, I'm not as bad as I thought. I'll just be honest, that happens sometimes. If you're not in the Facebook group, you are going to miss out on that part of it. So what I do recommend for people who are not on Facebook is to sign up with a fake name. Make a fake Facebook account, show up and be able to participate, and then just close the account when you're done. We've had many people decide to do that when they're not Facebook users. They were willing to do that. Chris, how is this PPC different from previous ones? How often should someone repeat a probiotic power cleanse? Great question, Chris. So this one is different because we've added meal plans. We've added a lot more recipes. We've really created a little bit more of a structure for people to follow. I mean, you can use that structure exactly as is, or you can venture out a little bit on your own and do what works for you within the guidelines. But that's a big change. The other change to this program is in terms of support and moderators. We've got more people supporting you during the cleanse. And really, we've just kind of gone through and updated everything. We've done this number of many, many times now for years. And right now, it just feels like it's kind of settled into a really good spot. We took all the feedback from the past few cleanses and really took some of the big suggestions to heart and started making them happen. So another question you said was, how often should somebody repeat the probiotic power cleanse? I think it's great to do it twice a year. I mean, that's my general recommendation. I think that people should cleanse twice a year in general. And generally, I recommend spring and fall being the two ideal times of year to cleanse. It's when the body is naturally shifting from one season to the next, from a season that is distinctly different than like summer to winter is really distinct, right? And so in the fall, if you cleanse, and if you don't cleanse, you'll notice that your food habits generally change as the seasons change. So what we do is we do this cleanse to help facilitate that process and really kind of change some of the organisms that are going to grow in your gut when you change your food, right? It's a perfect opportunity to make that. So twice a year, spring and fall. Sometimes I wasn't in the past able to teach it in the spring and the fall, but we've really dialed in the schedule so that we can make this a priority so that it's happening at the right time. Shruti D, which thank you, Shruti, for being here from India. I saw you on Facebook yesterday, I guess, or 2 days ago, so during the Facebook Live. So thanks for being there and being here now. My question is, I will be traveling for 10 days from the 25th of October for a worship. Wondering if I should wait for the next cleanse or go for it now. That's a good question. Because it's okay. Here's what I would say. You have to decide. You could decide to do 5 days with us and then continue it as long as you can afterward for another maybe 1 or 2 days. Like doing even just 5 days on the cleanse is going to be helpful and beneficial. It's still going to provide a good experience for you. So that's one option. If you're like, okay, I really don't want to wait till April. I just want to try it now. Come in and commit to, I'm going to do it from the 20th to the 25th. Or maybe you start it 2 days early. Maybe you start it on the 18th. You'll have all you need to start by then anyway. So yeah, the only thing I would be concerned about is that you'd have to decide quickly and order your cleanse kit now. Right now. I don't know exactly how long it takes to get to India. And if that's not an option to order the cleanse kit, another option for you would be to just come in, do the cleanse and, purchase some of the some of the herbs that I recommend. I created a simplified version of my cleanse kit and you could purchase those where you live. Eva says, my question is, can kids do the probiotic power cleanse along with me? No, I don't recommend that children do this. I don't think that it's ideal because I think that cleansing is us taking what we've learned, over years of eating the wrong way and living the wrong way and trying to untrain that. And kids are actually really good at listening to their bodies. And so, I don't really want to interfere or interrupt that process. Plus, some of the protocol on there, I think that, I would be concerned that a developing child would not necessarily be getting all the nutrients they need exactly at the right times. We're kind of restricting some things, we're restricting some nutrients in terms of like fat calories and restricting some sugar and things like that, or, even carbs a little bit, compared to what most people are used to. And I'm just afraid that wouldn't be right for kids. So I try not to work with anybody under the age of 16. I do have many people while on the probiotic power cleanse, they make food that they're going to be eating and they make extra for their family. And so their family still eats a lot of what they're eating along with them. They're just not following it as strictly. And the kids still might be eating like potentially more meat protein or, eating some of the foods that call to them. Catherine says, does having my gallbladder removed make any difference with your program? No. This, in fact, would probably be a great experience for you. Says, you've been on 40 milligrams of PPI, Prilosec for 27 plus years. Right now, I'm alternating 40 and 20 milligrams of QOD for about 3 weeks. Can I continue weaning off the PPI during a cleanse? Yes. I mean, absolutely, because, you're going to be bringing so many alkaline foods into your body and helping restore the balance of the pH of your gastric juices that I actually think it's a fine time to do it, especially since you've already started the process. I would not say that to somebody who's like, oh, I want to start this process now, during the cleanse. I'd say do the cleanse first and then figure it out. But since you've already started, then I think this is a perfect adjunct for what you're working on. Okay, one more. So somebody's asking me to repeat what I said. What are the cleanse kit what are the cleanse kit products that they need to remove if they have Hashimoto's or thyroid issues? And it's these two. It's the energy power and the protein power. They have maca and they have chlorella and spirulina in them. And you don't want to be taking those with the thyroid issues. So, and there's also kelp in this one. And even though kelp can be used in some thyroid issues, it's just like you want to know exactly how much you're taking. You want to do it a little bit differently. And this wasn't set up for somebody with hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. So maca, chlorella, spirulina, kelp, and it's the protein power and the energy power that you would not order. Courtney said, do ascorbic acid supplements cause your body to become too acidic? Oftentimes, yes. But my bigger concern is what they're doing right in the gut itself. They're changing the pH of, the environment within your gut. So it's going to change what it is able to grow and what won't. It also helps bring more water into the colon. And for a lot of people, like you're mentioning 5,000 milligrams per day. For some people, this can cause their bowels to move more effectively. People do this as a way to get rid of constipation. And so, you're kind of like taking a refined supplement that does require your body to use up minerals to buffer, and also is just going to affect the way your digestion is working. You're not allowing your digestion to work naturally. So it's not it's not actually my first choice. I really am a strong proponent of vitamin C, but I always recommend food-based vitamin C. There's like Mega Foods and Health Force Nutritionals are two of my favorites. All right. Shruti says, yes. So maybe you're going to do the 5 days. I hope so. That'd be so fun to see you there. Junie B, my question is, is the cleanse safe for a senior? I'm 74 years old and have no specific health concerns other than arthritis, and I take no medications. Yes. Absolutely. I've worked with many people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s to go through this cleanse. The nice thing about this is that we can tailor and tweak certain things for you. So if there is a need to tweak something that you're eating or, tweak the way the cleanse goes, I'm open to that. I always like to tailor things so that people are listening to their bodies. And that's something that I teach all throughout: how to slow it down, how to speed it up, how to go deeper, or how to have a more gentle experience. I don't want you to feel bad while you're cleansing. If you feel bad while you're cleansing, you're not ever going to do it again, right? You just won't. Your body will not let you do it again if you feel bad while you're doing it. So my goal is to have you feel as good as possible. And part of that means, really taking responsibility and listening and hearing what your body's saying and honoring the messages that you're hearing. And we do that within the guidelines of the cleanse, but sometimes we have to go outside of those guidelines. Like, for example, if somebody comes on who's pregnant or nursing, like, we're going to add some more protein in, we're going to add some more fat so that they can keep doing what they're doing, but now increasing their alkaline forming foods so they can start to get the effects of this microbiome makeover. Courtney says, is it okay to work out and go to the gym during the cleanse? So yes, it is totally fine to do both. I have worked with people who were, daily gym rats who did the cleanse, and they found that it was more useful for them to not exercise as hard. And so I will just put that caveat there. You may not want to exercise quite as hard, because while you're detoxing and your body's like working through some of both the metabolic changes as well as, helping to facilitate some of these toxins out of your system, it can take a little bit more energy for a moment. Like some days while you're on a cleanse, you might feel like resting more. You're also getting your body out of a state of fight or flight and going into rest and restore. And because of that, the adrenals need a little bit more time to heal. So going to the gym might be a little bit more stressful during this time while you're on the cleanse. So yes, you can definitely go to work, but in terms of the gym, you want to be creative and gentle with yourself and give yourself permission to maybe take a walk or do some yoga or go to the gym every other day, or maybe just shorten your workout a little bit. You'll be able to tell. I've seen some people be fine, but I've worked with a few people who were really like, I can't go to the gym every day on this cleanse. Like my body needs to rest. I can feel my body's healing. And then after they finished the cleanse, they were able to like change their nutrition a little bit. You bring in some more protein and more fat afterward, and then it tends to make it easier to keep going. Dawn, thank you for your kind words about the gut rebuilding program. Oh, nice. And then the vitamin C I recommended, I said Mega Foods and Health Force Nutritionals. Deb says, I'm still confused about which course to take if I need to do this cleanse before doing the gut rebuilding course. Deb, you don't have to do it first. It's up to you. I think of it as alternating cleanse and then rebuild, cleanse, rebuild, rinse and repeat, or maybe rebuild, then cleanse, rebuild, then cleanse. I do think that the cleanse is a great intro into this. I think it's a great jumpstart. I love that you'll have the experience of feeling differently than you normally do. And for that reason, it will give you something to stick with, something to really anchor to as you're in the gut rebuilding program. So if I had to pick which one you were going to do first, I would pick that you do the cleanse first, personally. But you kind of have to decide what's right for you and what your gut is telling you to do. Follow your instinct on this one. Can't make a wrong decision here if you're following your gut. We have to respect that. And I think that, if you need to come back in April when we do the next probiotic power cleanse, come do it then. But if I was picking, I would say probiotic power cleanse this time. Catherine says, I have severe asthma and take inhaled steroids. Will this conflict with any of your programs? No, this should not conflict. I mean, there are effects of the steroids on your body, but a lot of the work that we're doing tends to bring down inflammation in the body, and the asthma is very much linked to the gut. So I would work on this. I've worked with clients who have gotten off inhalers with our work together. I've worked with some clients who were able to get off of pulmonary meds that they were on. I've worked with people whose lung capacity was able to increase. Their doctor was able to track the difference in their lung capacity through doing this work. So, I think this might be a really positive step for you. And the special thing about my program is that I have experience with histamine issues, and, it's possible to do the cleanse and keep it low histamine, which for people with asthma tends to be extremely effective. Tends to bring symptoms down. People find that they get a reduction. So I would go for it for sure. Coralie says, I've recently been diagnosed with pyroluria. And I'm wondering if I can do this cleanse or if I need to take it slower. You can do this cleanse. You may have to stay in the gentle phase, and they're just, you would be one of the exceptions that I might say you may need to still take a supplement. If you're using B1, B6 zinc for the I hate saying this word. I always get it wrong. Pyroluria. If you're taking something for that, then, you may not want to stop. A lot of times during the cleanse, I recommend that people stop taking their supplements for the 10 days. And then they come, when they're done, they decide which ones to go back to. But, for you, like I said, if you have protocol for that and some of that supplements, I may not ask you to get off of those. I may say stay on them so that you can keep functioning normally. How long does this webinar take? Well, I'm going to get off here in a minute. Thanks, Joe. I just wanted to try to answer everybody's questions, but it looks like we're doing pretty good. I see one more. Shruti says, I was reading the registration page and wondering if I just buy the kit, would it be self-sufficient to run? As much as I would love to be part of the community, I'm currently unemployed and the exchange rate makes it really steep for me. Yes, I mean, you could. There's if you do the cleanse kit, it's just the products. So you could take the cleanse kit products and do your best to eat. You eat high alkaline foods. and, avoid the acidic foods for the 10 days that you're doing it. I think that would be totally fine. It's just that it's just can be, I mean, if you're a self-sufficient person, you can do it. I just recommend the group because it really does provide that support. And this is what it does. I did cleanses by myself so many times when I was on my healing journey. And the one thing that I really noticed was I would have these moments where I was just like, am I doing it right? Like, is this right? Am I supposed to be feeling this way? Is this thing supposed to be happening? I had these questions and I didn't have a way to get them answered, and I think that in some ways, some of those moments really stressed me out a little bit more. And I think that just having the support of the group, what it does is it actually eases a level of stress because you have a place to go talk to and ask questions. You have someone who's going to help you get through it. And then most of the time you're going to find out whatever it is you're experiencing is probably pretty normal and that there's nothing to worry about, which in that moment, again, will help ease your stress, right? But like if doing it alone would cause more stress, then that would be the deciding factor. Okay, looks like there's no more questions. If you have a last minute question and you want to pop it in there, now's the chance, because otherwise I'm going to start to close this up. So remember, I'm just going to look it up here, probioticpowercleanse.com/registration. And that's where you find the information about the cleanse. That's where you're going to get access to purchasing the program and getting access to the bonuses for the first people that sign up. All right. Vitamin C, yes or no? I mean, I don't know what for. You're saying vitamin C, yes or no? That's a tricky question. I don't know what you're asking, what that would be for. I prefer that you just have a diet that really has enough antioxidants and vitamin C in it. And Joe says, how do you heal dysbiosis? This cleanse is a great way. This is a first step right here. And then Sherry says, does your cleanse remove heavy metals? It does actually. So yes, I mean, we start to remove heavy metals when we're starting the natural detox process and we start opening up the channels of elimination. Heavy metals start to detox when you get the right bacteria in the gut because they actually naturally help to get metals out of the system. And then some of the herbs I have are helpful with that as well. So in the cleanse kit, the protein power and the intestinal power used in conjunction do have some chelation effect on getting heavy metals out of the system. Sandy said, I'm in a very weak state. Can I do a 10-day? If you're in a very weak state, gut rebuilding might be a better option for you. We move differently in that program. We're not doing it's like Probiotic Power Cleanse is like this 10-day sprint. Gut rebuilding is more of like a little slower marathon. Yeah, Sandy, MS, Candida, leaky gut. I would recommend gut rebuilding first for you. Sherry says, is the cleanse the best way to start getting the heavy metals out? Yes, I think it's a great first start. I mean, this is the first step I would take because you're, open. Like I feel like I already answered that, everything that I said. Nancy says, sorry, vitamin C, does it make one acidic? I answered that earlier when I talked about the ascorbic acid versus natural sources. So yeah, ascorbic acid and the natural sources can be more acidic on the system, especially within the digestive tract. And natural ones are better. All right, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. But probioticpowercleanse.com/registration. I hope to see you this round at the Probiotic Power Cleanse. We're going to have an amazing group of people. And I look forward to talking with you more. We'll see you soon. Check your email and we'll keep sending out reminders about this. And if you have any questions, you can email support@summerbach.com. All right, everyone, this is Summer Bach, and I'm signing out. Bye. Bye. We'll just unmute everybody for a second.
Bye, Summer. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Amazing.
I have to go out and get water then.
All right. Bye.